Welcome to Toy Business Unboxed, your gateway to the secrets of the toy industry. Here, Jason Shea, a toy entrepreneur and expert in the field.
Every product we develop is really inspired by some of the real life experience that we have with our son.
60% of all toys last year were sold on Amazon, which is incredible.
Be passionate about it because it's a road, it's a journey.
Like when you have an idea that you think is like gonna somewhat like change the world, make things better, I'd say go for it.
We'll guide you through the enchanting world of toy design, marketing, and manufacturing. Now let the unboxing begin.
Welcome back to another episode of Toy Business Unboxed. Today, our guest is a true legend in the toy industry. His journey has begun way back in 1969, as way back before I was born, obviously. And he started at Ideal Toys, the company that introduced the teddy bear, and also took him through big names like Mattel and other big toy company. Then he helped drive hundreds of millions in sales in his role in the business. Then he took a detour into software world with Microsoft and working alongside with Bill Gates before returning to the toy industry and launched his own company now with Toytronics today. So it was an honor to have you on the show, Bruce, and share your journey with our audience.
Thank you very much, Jason. Glad to still be here after almost 57 years in the business.
Yeah, that's a long time. So can we kind of walk all the way back? Like, what first drew you into the industry, into the world of play?
Well, really didn't know what I wanted to do when I was in college. My dad said, you should look for something in sales, maybe in marketing, and it sounded good. And I didn't know anything about the toy business. I started answering ads for sales jobs and interviewed with several different companies. One was Polaroid, and I remember them. And luckily, I interviewed with Ideal Toy. They were looking for a retail salesman to call on the stores back then. And it sounded like it was interesting and fun. And they hired me and got the job. And basically, the rest is history.
I see.
And I've always had a passion. I just fell in love with it. I was like a kid in a candy store to be able to sell and market and also play with all the toys that I was involved with. And I'm still sort of doing that with my company today.
What was your role way back then with that company?
Well, when I first started in 1969, I was what they called a retail salesman.
Okay.
I had a territory in New England.
Yeah.
And I would call on all the stores, and my job was to mostly detail, inventory, the merchandise, make sure the stuff was out from the back room on the counter, building end caps, and depending on what the account was, actually sell them, if they were out of stock on a particular item. My job was to sell the product. That's how I started in New England, and then eventually they moved me to New York, which was obviously back then the capital of the toy business. Yeah. All the big manufacturers had offices there, and spent most of my career in New York with Ideal first, and then went to Mattel.
Yeah.
That's where I really got my training because they were a very, very professional company. And I was there when they introduced Hot Wheels. And Barbie was already there. And I was with Mattel for 10 years, both in toys. And then they got involved in the electronics business with handheld games. They were the first to introduce the handheld games. They introduced the little handheld football, which revolutionized the business. Then they got into video games with something called Intellivision to compete with Atari. And then I left the toy business for a couple of years and was with Microsoft for a couple of years and with my electronic background. And I was the 250th employee, and I used to take Bill Gates around because I was I was a VP of sales, and he begged me not to leave the company, but my heart really wasn't into software. It was always with toys. So I left. I went back to the toy business with Viewmaster Ideal. And I was there for a couple of years and then left and went to a smaller company called Kid Design, which was an electronics company. Wanted to get into the toy business. So we built a business licensing electronics. And then I left back in 2004, started my own company, consulting and then manufacturing, and got involved in the movie business a little bit.
I see.
And now I'm a manufacturer of a Wizard of Oz merchandise.
I see. Well, that sounds like a very interesting journey.
So that's my career in a nutshell, over 57.
I see. So I want to kind of talk more about the current business that you run. Can you kind of elaborate the toy line that you're in charge of? I know some of
the toy
you have some
line
of the product behind you as well.
I got involved in a movie. We made an animated movie based on the Wizard of Oz franchise and a book.
Okay.
And we were able to license toys for that movie, originally with Bandai. They were the original licensee, and we licensed some toys based on the movie. And that was 2014.
Okay.
So after that, I decided to take on the franchise myself and started manufacturing toys based on the Wizard of Oz franchise, which has obviously had a big, big resurgence over the last few years, particularly with the introduction of the Wicked movies, Wicked for Good, Wicked. And this year is the 125th anniversary of the book that was actually written by Frank L. Baum.
Oh, really?
1900, he wrote The Wonderful Wizard of Oz.
I see.
So that's when it all started. And it's also the 86th anniversary of the movie that really put the Wizard of Oz franchise on the map. And that was the 1939 movie that everybody knows, with Judy Garland singing, Somewhere Over the Rainbow. And according to science, that movie is as influential today as it was in 1939. And it's supposedly the most watched movie in history.
Oh, really? Okay.
And people keep watching it over and over.
I keep on thinking it was Titanic.
In Las Vegas, in the Sphere, which a lot of people, it's an interactive thing, and it's just given a big, big resurgence to the whole line of Wizard of Oz. So I introduced some toys based on the movie. If you like, I can show you a few.
Yeah,
I have an interactive plus toy called Walking Talking Toto. All you do is you pull his leash, he walks and talks and he wiggles out of the box. And then I also have just a plain little plush Toto. This is a combination of the Toto from the original Wizard of Oz and the Toto that's in the Legends of Oz, Dorothy's Return animated movie that we made.
I see. Okay.
And then I have some 2-inch characters of the Wizard of Oz, the little 2-inch hat. This happens to be the Tin Man. So this is a gift set with 6 little characters. It's for collectors. And interestingly enough, adults are going crazy over all this stuff, buying it for themselves, and they're buying it for their kids.
I see. I see.
And then I also have if you remember back in the 90s, there was a concept called bendable characters, where you could bend the characters and be pliable. So I introduced a whole line of the 6 classic characters. Here's Dorothy, where they're posable and they're bendable.
Okay.
So the kids can pose them and bend them and do whatever they want, interact. Then, of course, I have the dolls, the star of the show, Dorothy, in her outfit with a piece of the yellow brick road, plus a little bonus Toto.
Yeah.
And then the wonderful witch, Glenda, with her gorgeous little gown and all the accessories, the wand, the tiara, and another piece of the yellow brick road. And then, of course, everybody's favorite, the Wicked Witch of the West.
Okay, yeah.
Comes with her black outfit as well as the broomstick and accessories.
I see.
So I'm basically capitalizing on the resurgence of the Wizard of Oz. I'm selling this product on Amazon, and it's also available on Walmart.com. Those are basically the 2 retailers that are selling the product.
I see. And I know since you have been in the industry for so long, what are some of the major changes that you see over the year that the industry has?
Well, the biggest change is obviously the use of the technology today, like AI, to help deal with everything and anything in this business. In the old days, everything was done by hand, whether it was product design, development, sales forecasting, you name it. It was done by hand.
Yeah.
You had to use your head and your brain and your hand. Today, obviously, in 2025, you have artificial intelligence, which is literally taking over all of those things. We're still interacting, but manufacturers today, especially the larger ones, like a Hasbro or a Mattel, they rely so much on artificial intelligence to help them manufacture and market the products. Same thing with the retailers. I mean, the biggest change with retailers today is in 1969, when I first started, there were hundreds of mass market retailers and small retailers.
Yeah.
Many, many, many channels of distribution to sell to.
Yeah.
Those people are long since gone. Certainly in the mass market today, it's just dominated by number one, Walmart, Amazon, and then Target. After that, that's it. Even Toys R Us, who used to own the toy business.
Oh, yeah. They went out of business. Yeah.
So it's a dramatic change over the last 50 to 60 years. And who knows what it'll be like going forward.
Yeah. Yeah, and I know before the interview, we're also discussing about the impact of tariff on the industry. How are you dealing with the tariff situation?
With my merchandise, I brought in most of my merchandise early enough before the tariffs
kick in.
in place. So I brought my merchandise in. It was all developed and designed last year and the year before. So I brought in all this merchandise early, and I was not subject to any tariffs. It was all duty free. It was all coming from China.
I see.
If I were to bring in this product today, it'd be a different story, because I'd have to pay, at this point, who knows, at least another 30% more.
Yeah.
And that would put these products up, $5, $10 more. And that could obviously hurt the business. So who knows what's going to happen with the tariffs? Hopefully, in the next month or so, Mr. Trump is going to be in China, and he will settle it once and for all, because so much of this merchandise is manufactured in China.
Yes, yeah.
Maybe 40, 50% is still manufactured in China. Manufacturers are trying to circumvent, but there are certain things that the Chinese know how to do, and the infrastructure that you can't do anyplace else in the world, even in Cambodia or Vietnam or any place. And certainly not in the United States.
Agree.
So,
yeah,
tariffs have certainly been a headache for the toy business in particular. Absolutely.
And marketing wise, what are some of the strategy that has still been working for you to grow the brand?
Well, I don't do a lot of marketing. I'm lucky that the franchise is so well known. And because of all the marketing that's going on for the 125th anniversary of the book, the 85th anniversary of the movie, and, Universal pounding the airwaves now with the Wicked movie that's coming out in less than a month, and the Las Vegas introduction of the Sphere, there's a tremendous amount of marketing going on for the Wicked of Oz franchise, which I'm, taking advantage of on their coattails. I mean, there isn't a person on the planet today that really has never heard of something to do with the Wizard of Oz.
Yeah. Okay.
So luckily, I don't spend a lot of money marketing. I have a website. People go there, if they want to buy the product, they can either buy it through the website, they can buy it from Amazon, they can buy it from Walmart.
I see.
So,
so I know Wizard of Oz is your kind of main line that you're focusing on. What excites you about the most for the upcoming years?
Well, when I was a kid, I was enamored, and I remember the first time watching the movie. I was 10 years old in 1956, and the movie was made in color, but back then, very few people had a color TV. So you couldn't watch it in color. It was all black and white.
Yeah.
But I remember I had a rich relative who had one of the first color TVs.
Okay.
So I went over there and we watched it. And the opening of the movie was still in black and white when Dorothy's in Kansas and the tornado comes, and we're all saying, well, how come it's not in color? You have a color TV. Where's the color?
Yeah.
And then, she falls into Oz through the tornado and opens the door into Oz. and then everything was in color. And nobody had seen the kind of color on a TV like that before. And, Warner Brothers was one of the first, or back then it was MGM, made that movie, in Technicolor, and they were one of the first to use Technicolor. So from that point on, I fell in love with the movie, and I said, yeah, someday, who knows? Maybe I'll get involved in the toy business and I'll fantasize about manufacturing Wizard of Oz toys. And that dream came to fruition.
Yeah, that's a long way to go. And I think you have a very interesting experience in both not just making toys, but also producing film, because that's a very different skill set.
Very different skill set. I got involved in that back in 2010. A small production company basically were looking for investors to help them fund the animated movie. And they approached me, and I told them that I had a background in toys and electronics, and I obviously could help them with not only making the movie. I mean, I didn't know too much about the movie business, but I was a quick learner in Hollywood. So, we produced the movie, we marketed it, and I was able to help them develop the line with Bandai of the toys to go along with the movie. So it was a different skill set.
Yeah, for sure.
And it was certainly an experience going to Hollywood and having the premiere with all the stars of that movie. And they were big, big stars because they basically came to us and they wanted to voice the characters. For instance, Leah Michele played Dorothy, and she was a big, big star. Patrick Stewart, who everybody knows, he came to us and said, I want to be part of the movie. Dan Aykroyd, Martin Short, all came to us basically and said, I want to be part of making this animated film. So obviously that helped.
I see.
And that movie is, available now on video and streaming, and people watch it, every day like they watch the original movie.
Looking ahead, what are some of your vision for the company? Are you going to be launching more product next year? Or?
Well, it'll depend. I mean, I'm getting up in age, and I want to be able to enjoy the fruits of my labor.
Yeah.
So I'm not quite sure whether I'll be introducing new products within the Oz franchise or new products in another venue. At this point, it's to be determined.
I see.
But I'll always be involved in the toy business. I still, once a week, go into the stores.
I see.
I'm like a kid in a candy shop. I go into Walmart. I go into Target to see what they're selling. And, it's a passion of mine.
Got it. Yeah. And are you also considering maybe selling the brand in the future, then, to work on other projects?
Like I said, everything is, from this point on, the future is remains to be seen.
I see.
That's about all I can tell you, Jay.
Got it. So as well, kind of wrapping up today's interview, if you have to share just one piece of advice with someone that's getting started in the toys and game industry, what would that be?
Good question. I think if you're interested in the business, knowing that it's always changing, you must have a passion for it. You really have to have a passion. It's a very competitive business. It's a very innovative business. The key to the toy business is new. Everybody wants to know what's new.
Yeah.
And it's all about product. And you see, as well as I do, the hundreds of products that all these manufacturers every year invest a lot of money in and introduce. 90% of them don't even make it to market. So if I were to recommend or give somebody advice, be passionate about what you do and have fun and enjoy it.
That's a very good advice. Thank you so much for sharing. And thank you so much for being on our show today, sharing your journey over 5 decades in the industry. That's a long time.
Thank you so much for having me, and I appreciate it. And we'll talk again.
For sure. And thank you for our audience to tuning in to this episode of Toy Business Unboxed podcast. We hope you have enjoyed today's conversation and find it both insightful and inspiring. If you like what you have heard, be sure to subscribe to our podcast on your favorite podcast platform so you never miss an episode. We also love it if you can leave us a review and share the podcast with your friend and colleague. It really helps us grow and reach more toys and game creators like yourself. If you want to keep the conversation going, please join our free Facebook community, Toys and Game Launchpad, where toys and game entrepreneurs connect, share ideas, and get exclusive resources. Visit toy-launch.com/group to learn more. And also for more tips and resources, you can also find the latest update within the toys and industry within our website, toy-launch.com. And until next time, keep innovating, keep creating, keep bringing joys to toys. This is Jason Shea signing off on the Toy Business Unboxed podcast. We'll see you in the next episode. Thank you so much, everyone.